Hey, howdy. I want to talk about Western separation in Canada. Is it doable? Is it treason? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it good for Alberta? Is it good for the Western provinces? Is it good or is it bad for Canada? You know what? Firstly, I think if you have bad management, then you have to look at it, right? It's like a relationship. If you have a relationship where your spouse speaks a different language than you and takes money out of your wallet every night when you're sleeping and hits you on the head with a 2x6 every day, and she's been doing that for 150 years, I think you have to stop and look at it and say, am I happy? How do I fix this relationship? Do we go to a counselor? Oh, we've done that, but she always says she has more votes than me. So I'm losing, she's winning, and I'm unhappy. What do I do? Do I pack my suitcase and put it in my car and drive away and do the property settlement later, or do I stay forever? But it will be forever because of the laws, the divorce laws that I have to stay with her until we get our property settlement figured out, right? I think finally there is a point when you throw the suitcase in the car and you drive away and you come back and do the property settlement another day. That's what I think, and I think it's very important. In terms of the Alberta management right now, the present government is no different than previous governments. I mean, the debt is just going like a rocket ship, right? I mean, revenue sources including, this is quite remarkable, the royalty revenues from the oil sands in Alberta don't even come close to covering what the government needs. I mean, the debt servicing alone this year is flirting with $3 billion, and their overall debt is almost $120 billion. This is all with B's. That's massive debt. And until 8 years ago, there was a law in place. It was against the law to borrow money. The government couldn't borrow money, right? And then that premier, the leftist one, was Allison Redmond or somebody, Redford, she came along and said, I've got to change the rules now because I need more money so I can go out and lose it and waste it. And then, of course, you swing over to the federal management, and that's disastrous. I mean, they just, wow, give us money, but you're not allowed to work. Back to that wife and husband thing. I mean, I'm going to take money out of your wallet every night, and you're not allowed to work because it's not good for you, but there's no money in your wallet, and how dare you? So let's just analyze this. How could this be good for Alberta? Well, firstly, for the West. Firstly, I think Alberta needs to separate by itself, and I really think they will, when the people understand the good and the bad that's associated with potential separation. I believe that they will separate. Not, I think I know there's a plan afoot now that will actually make that happen, in my humble opinion, right? So I think that's the model, and it's not just because it's Alberta, and it's not just for Albertans. I think it's a model that the world needs. It's a conservative capitalist model, and I believe that Saskatchewan and Manitoba and parts of British Columbia will look seriously to join Alberta once they're successful with the separation. And again, I really believe this is going to happen. You know, I know talk is cheap, it takes money to buy whiskey, but I believe that this one, everyone's lined up to do the whiskey thing. I mean, it's a good plan. Now let's look at the rest of Canada. This isn't good. You're going to separate, you're going to break up my country. This is going to hurt me. Okay, now let's use a stupid little story to kind of get there. Think of yourself as, or think of another person that's better, as being the only plumber in town. And he's a slob. He dresses badly, he never shaves, and his truck is filthy, and if he has a 1 o'clock appointment at your house on Tuesday, he shows up on Wednesday at 4 o'clock. He's totally unreliable and he doesn't care. All of a sudden one day, another guy comes to town and he's a plumber and he has a new truck. He dresses nicely. When he says 1 o'clock, he's there at 1 o'clock. His customer service is wonderful, and he washes his truck. So back to the separation of the country, I believe that when the West separates, beginning with Alberta, that the rest of Canada will look and say, hey, 80% of our livestock, our beef, it comes from the West, and this and that. We're going to wash our truck. But competition is a good thing, and the government, it smartens people up. It makes you wash your truck. And the leadership in Canada, they don't care. They don't do the competition thing because they're left-wing wackos. They truly are. It's all about people control. They take your rights away. They do all these bad things. So to make them competitive, you need to have a new plumber in town. And crazy story, but hopefully you get it. I mean, I'm going to talk more about this in the future with more detail, and I'll fill you in on what's really going on, because there is a plan afoot, as I've said a few times in this program. But process all of that, because I think it's a good thing for the country. You should never separate, because you'll hurt the children, right? Don't divorce, because you'll hurt the children. But there comes a point when you've hurt the children by not doing that. And as much as I would hate to see it happen, there's no other choice now. And the time for talk is done. It's time for action. And I sincerely believe that the country is too far gone. You have people in the 416 and the 905 area code regions that are mostly from other countries, and they're voting and they're directing the culture and the style of the entire nation. And then you have the leadership that we've talked about, right? And I hold them in low regard. So again, process all of that and stand by, and we'll have another shoe for you. That's Ed Sullivan Talk shoe for you in the near future, and we'll give you details. See ya.